Hi friends, welcome to Anna with Plants. My name is Anastasia. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I'm going to be doing Hoya plant chores. I'm going to try to make it the longest video so far on my channel. I can't guarantee that it'll be an hour, but I'll try to make it there. I do certainly have a lot ahead of me. Also, it'll be a bit of a chatty video, I imagine, so if that sounds like more your speed, then go ahead, grab something to drink. I'm actually gonna grab something to drink right now. Maybe you have some plant chores to do yourself. Go ahead, maybe put this in the background, and we'll just catch up and chat and do some plant chores together. Let me grab that drink, and then we'll get started. Let's actually start off with the first plant that I want to repot today. It is right here in front of you. It's going to be my lacunosa silver mint coin. It has gotten a little bit bigger, definitely trailing, but it's for sure outgrown its trellis. You can see the trellis back here. It is swamped by leaves. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a larger home, and then I'm also gonna give it a larger trellis as well. This has definitely been one of my favorite Hoyas because it's really low maintenance, low care. So I'm just gonna take away all these dragonfly clips. It brings me to tell you that I misplace plant clips like nobody's business. I really don't know what happens to them. I'll find them here and there, and then they'll just disappear. I really don't want to order more of them because I ordered like a pack of 100, and I know they are somewhere in this house. I just don't know exactly where. I know as soon as I order some, they're gonna show up, and then I'm gonna find my plant clips. And then I'll have 200, and who needs 200 plant clips? Am I right or am I right? Another really interesting thing about the growth pattern of this Hoya is it tends to branch out like a lot. For example, this guy started with one branch, and then it branched like 4 times over here. So I don't know, I just think that's interesting. It definitely gives it more of like a full look, which I appreciate. And where did you come from? Oh, go back in there. So let's see what the rootage situation looks like. Oh, I should have emptied the water. Foresight is not one of my strong suits. Well, it's very well rooted. Some of it is a little rotty coming off in my hands like that, so that is never a good sign. The leaves weren't wrinkly. I think the roots are still taking up water. Sometimes when plants are a little bit rotty, I'll just go ahead and replant them, and hopefully they'll grow new roots. Oh my god. What the hell is that? Is that a mouse? Holy shit, I think that might be a mouse. Uh-oh. Oh. Okay, let's pause, and I really hope that I did not catch a mouse in the corner of my kitchen. Okay, I'm back. I literally scoured that corner of the kitchen where I like saw a shadow, and I didn't find anything. I even brought my dog over because I'm sure like a dog would be able to tell if there was a mouse in there, and we found nothing. So I don't know if this mouse is just very clever or I'm losing my mind. I don't really know what's worse. I might say the mouse is worse. Okay, sorry. I have like PTSD from, that is a mouse. Oh my god. Holy moly. Nope, this time I saw it with my own eyes. It was like a baby mouse, like this big, you guys. My dog was just lying there, didn't even notice it. Really didn't want this video to start out like this. I don't want my day to start out like this. Let me collect myself. Let me figure out why I'm here and what just happened. In the house that we rented before we bought this one, we had a mouse get in through the garage because the landlords refused to fix the garage door being like ajar, you know, it couldn't close completely. We had a mouse get in through the garage, and because the house was really old, it got in through like a hole in the garage wall, and it like was able to access the kitchen cabinet. So we had this like long battle with the mouse, you know, trying to catch it. It was the smartest mouse. It would like get food out of the traps. It would just eat whatever. I remember when we hosted Thanksgiving that night, ate like part of the turkey. Like we saw parts of the turkey in the garage. It was just really clever, and we never did manage to rehome it or catch it. Seeing that brings me back to that time, and thankfully it's pretty small and it's the only one, but I'm just thinking like, how did it get in here? Because I mean, sometimes we do leave the garage door open for like short periods of time. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. If any of you have any tips on how to catch mice, please let me know. Back to plants and the video. I'm just gonna compartmentalize that news for later. I have a circle trellis here, and that's what I'm going to use for the mint coin. This is the upsize. It's not a huge upsize. Hoya like to feel a bit, you know, like homey, cozy. I'm using today is the tree fern pond mix that I've been using since January of this year. I have added a little bit more tree fern in it than I normally do, just because I let my Hoya dry out way too much. I don't need it to dry out that often. Oh my god, I think I got tree fern in my eye. Oh, ouch. This video is just a hot mess. And it just started. It's not good. Okay, secure the trellis in there. I'm also going to be using great white on all the roots. I have it up here just so I know to use it, and especially since this one was a little bit rotty. It wasn't like the worst. I heard your guys' feedback on the new camera, and I do mostly agree with what you guys said. I wasn't super keen on it. It wasn't unwatchable, you know. If it was truly unwatchable, I don't think I would have even uploaded it. I don't want to completely give up on that camera. I want to try to maybe use it for some other purpose, try to see if I can't change some things about it to make it more usable to me. I'm also, in case you haven't been able to tell, not the world's like greatest trellis master, so I'm just gonna do the best I can. I know that you're supposed to trellis in a particular direction. This is just purely for looks, I think, at this point. Hopefully the vines will get long enough to start looping around the trellis is what I'm trying to aim for. Okay, why am I doing this backwards? I feel like I should have this facing towards me. Oh my god, I'm covered in Hoya sap. Why is this not going well at all? That looks bad. Yes, that looks pretty bad. Okay. It doesn't look very good right now because the leaves are all turning not the same way. This is not my finest trellising work. This is the lacunosa mint coin, all repotted and trellised. I will go ahead and set her aside over here. I am gonna wash my hands because I am covered in Hoya sap and I'm super sticky. Moving on to the next repot, I am, well, it's kind of a rehab repot. This is my Mathilde splash, and then this is like the super splashy one. You can kind of see it. It was covered in mealybugs out in the garage, so I basically put it in a solution of Castile soap. I let that just do its thing for maybe like 10 minutes, and then I made sure to wash that plant very, very well, and now I don't see any. I also kind of cut off the ends that weren't really splashy anymore, and I took some cuttings. We're gonna be potting up the cuttings that I took. I really love this plant. I want it to get very big and beautiful. I also want to start to maybe trellis it. I can't really decide on if I just want to let it hang or trellis, so I'm just gonna try the trellis out and see how that works. Cute little cuttings that I took right here. Hopefully you guys can see those. We're just gonna pot it all together, why not? The roots on this looked fine. I did accidentally break a lot of them when I was trying to get it out of that old pot because it was really well rooted. But Hoya can take it. They're pretty strong and resilient. Keeping in the Hoya vein, I actually bought some new Hoya plants. It's been a long time since I bought a plant in general. According to my standards anyway, I didn't buy any plants in June. If you happen to see like that huge haul that I did over April, that's pretty impressive for me to not buy a single plant in at all for a month. And I didn't even really plan on going on a plant ban. Plants weren't really on the forefront. I didn't buy any plants in June, and I bought 3. One of them is super exciting because it's been on my wish list for a really long time, and it is pretty expensive. I'm not going to say what it is because I want it to be a surprise when I finally get it. I bought that plant, and then I also bought a couple of other plants off of Mercari. I haven't used Mercari for buying plants in almost a year. It's been coming up on a year now. A lot of people that I used to buy from on Mercari actually closed down their shops. I can kind of see now why buying from there for the first time in a while. They added a lot of fees. Like they added like an extra $10 in just fees that the app gets to keep. I really don't think I'm gonna buy from there anymore, and I wouldn't have even placed a purchase had I not seen a clone of a plant that just has very great genes. Again, I don't want to say what it is. I kind of want to show you guys. I do plan to do a haul as soon as I get them. I'm going to trellis without any plant clips, zip ties. And ideally, when I find my plant clips, I'm gonna cut off the ties and replace them with clips, is what I've been telling myself anyway. I actually have started to get back into Hoyas as of late, and this is kind of what happens. I'll like get really into a genus, and then I'll drop another genus that I'm into, and then I'll get tired of that genus and then come back to this one. I feel like Hoyas always kind of have my heart. There isn't ever a time where I'm not into Hoyas. There was definitely a time where I bought a lot and then I stopped. And then I got into Anthurium, and I was really in love with Anthurium, and I think of late I kind of fell out of love of them. I still love Anthurium, but I'm not in love with them anymore. And I kind of knew that this would happen because how many Anthurium seedlings can you really buy? There's always going to be new crosses. I just feel like I hit my max with Anthurium. Being out of the Hoya game for so long, there's a lot of really cute Hoya that popped up that I didn't even know about. I want to say it's called the Chibi, which looks really cool. It's really expensive right now. I'm definitely not going to buy it until like the prices come down. If they will come down, there's that one. The one Hoya that I really want is the mathilde variegated. It's like inner variegated, and I think it's really cute. I'm not always into that, and I have seen them come down in price a little bit. Originally, when that plant came out, it was like $500 per node. It was insane. So that has come down a little bit. I'm kind of keeping my eye on that one. This is the mathilde, all repotted and trellised up. I think it looks pretty cute. Again, still has some growing to do. I'm satisfied with that. I don't think that one's that bad. What is next on the agenda? Let's move on to the Hoya propagations. I have them right over here, and then we're just gonna kind of go through them as I pot them. They are really, really overdue. I think I'm gonna do one where I combine. So these two are the variegated lacunosas. I do have some already, so I think I'm just gonna add them to the one that I already have. I think that's going to be my plan, to just make this plant a little bit more full, because this isn't exactly the fastest growing lacunosa out there. I also want to get it out of this substrate. Let me do that and then I'll come back. This is the root situation. So not super well rooted. I'm gonna keep it in the same container that it was in before. So what was I saying? That I've been getting back into Hoyas lately, which I know you guys will probably like, seeing as a lot of you like Hoyas too. Watch out for more Hoya content from me, mainly because I want to tackle the garage Hoya. I know you guys couldn't really see very well on that camera, and maybe it was a good thing, but the garage Hoya are not doing well. They are really covered in mealies, and I've been kind of treating them. I will spray them down here and there, but I haven't really taken the whole plant and like really treated it, and I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. A lot of them also have just kind of died. There are dead plants in there that I just left there, so I just need to clean, I need to organize, I need to get that part of the house good, because it's starting to affect my mental health. I don't know if any of you can relate to this. My mental health suffers when I'm just surrounded by things that cause me stress that I need to deal with, but I don't deal with it because you know, and the longer that I go without dealing with it, the more stressed I become and the worse my mental health gets. I think part of the reason that I've been feeling so burnt out, I'm going through a plant burnout right now, is because I have all these problems that I'm not addressing appropriately. It's not been good. And that's also part of the reason why I haven't even been buying plants, because every single time I've almost gone to buy a plant, I'm like, well, you can't even take care of the plants that you already have. Like, what right do you have to bring more plants into your home? That's just kind of where my mind's been at lately. It's not been in a super good place. I think those of you with large collections might know what I'm talking about. It just gets to a point where it overwhelms you, and the whole purpose to bring you joy and this hobby to bring you joy really backfires on you. And I've had this happen before. This is not my first plant burnout, but it's my first plant burnout on this channel. I'm just gonna have to put on my big girl pants and tackle that garage. It's getting to a point where it's getting ridiculous. They're gonna have to be treated, repotted, all of the works. If you're interested in that, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna tackle it off camera and maybe show you guys the end result of it, because I know this is gonna be a project and a half. That's what that looks like. I repotted the 2 props back in here, so it looks a little bit fuller. Now for the other props, what am I gonna have to do? Some of them I can probably put in a container by itself. I totally forgot that the shop that I bought these props from actually gave me these cute little plant tags here, so I'm gonna go ahead and use them. Next, we're gonna tackle the Hoya albomarginata. She gave me a very generous cutting of this, so I actually propped it into 4 different props. I'm gonna go ahead and take them out if I can, because some of these roots, they're very, very well rooted. Yeah, it's honestly very sad when you take your eye off the ball for a long time in your collection and it gets to the point where you can actually see your collection declining, going downhill. I've definitely reached that point and it's not bringing me joy. It's not putting me in a good place mentally, and I need to fix it. And I think it'll be good because it'll really keep me occupied. I also want to do a top 10 Hoya. I really love to make those. And I want to do like a top 10 hardest Hoya that I have in my collection, or hard Hoyas to grow. So if you guys have any feedback on which Hoyas you have a hard time to grow that you think that I should include in that and that I might have in my collection too, go ahead and leave them down below. Definitely needs time to grow into that pot, but it looks cute. That one done. Now the rest of the props are pretty small. I definitely don't think I'm gonna need to pot it in that big of a container. All right, next prop is gonna be the white pearl, which is a really lovely Hoya as well. You can kind of see the iridescence on the leaves here. And I actually also have one too. I'm just gonna pot these together, make a fuller pot. I'm gonna empty out maybe like half of the container because this is in like a full pond mix. I'm gonna take out this plant. Ooh, it's got some really long roots. Look at those. And I'm just gonna kind of twine them around. Yeah, this prop of the white pearl I've had for literally ages and it just refused to grow. So I repotted it for like the billionth time and it finally has started to grow, but it's just super duper slow. It's probably a me thing because lacunosas generally grow fast. Yeah, it just really surprised me how suddenly I burnt out. I think one thing that really contributes to plant burnout in general, oh, by the way, this is all done. There we go, that was a quick one. Next up, I'm gonna use 2 smaller containers here for these 2. So this is the sulcata right here. And this is a 10-20-55, which is a really interesting lacunosa. It has leaves that are kind of a little bit wavy. So one of the things that I think contributes to plant burnout is obviously people with large collections. I think the aspect of a large plant collection, like the specific thing about a large plant collection that gets people to burn out is the perceived lack of control that you have over it. When you start getting up to over 100 plants, up to 200 plants, is you're not in control of the collection anymore. The collection is in control of you. And I think that's one of the nice things about this hobby is it never gets boring in the sense that the plants keep the pace for you. They tell you when they need to be watered. They tell you when it's time for a repot, all of these things, right? So it's never really you deciding if you need to do something, like the plant will tell you. But when you're talking about having over 100 plants, it just gets away from you. It kind of just becomes its own beast, and you have so many things to do that are piling up. You have this perceived feeling that you have no control over it. And I don't know if anyone else does this, but sometimes when you have so much to do, you end up doing nothing at all. You don't do anything what you're supposed to be doing. And I think I've been really falling into that rut these last couple of months where I know exactly what I need to tackle and take care of. My brain just refuses to go there. Yeah, it's not been a good place to be at, but I really kind of have to turn it around. There's that one all done. For my plants' health, for my health, I need to do something. So this is me doing something. Finally tackling some of the plant chores that I've been meaning to get to. It's that feeling of, I'm sure after I'm done with all of this, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, that was so easy. Why didn't I do this so much sooner? It's because it's the process to get there, to get in that headspace of allowing yourself to help yourself. Hopefully you guys don't mind hearing my babble about psychology because it's part of my job and I also find psychology pretty interesting. I always try to understand like what are the intentions behind people's actions. If you guys don't know, I don't know if I like fully shared this on this channel before. Okay, and then that is that one all potted up. We are moving right along. Let's use a no drainage type of thing. So I'm just gonna put some pond at the bottom of this, like a good inch here, and we'll pot up the last one, which is a lacunosa louse. This one didn't root fantastically. I cut it into 2 props and they did root, but not as well as the other ones. And this is the last of the test tube props. I kind of shared this on this channel, but not really. My job is a dietitian, right? I was a dietitian for acute care hospitals for a while. I did the general floors, but I also did like the ICU type of stuff. I did the rounds with all the doctors and all of that. And I just got very, very burnt out from, I also did it kind of during COVID. It was just a crazy time, super short staffed, and I had 2 jobs at 2 different hospitals at the same time. So I was working sometimes 2 weeks in a row without a day off. It was insanity. And then I decided to take a job, move to another part of the state and to a completely different type of hospital, which is a mental hospital. And I never imagined working at a place like I do right now, because what I'm about to describe to you sounds a little bit unhinged for people to work there. But once you get over what it is, it's honestly the easiest, chillest job in the world. I work at a maximum security mental hospital. Without really divulging too much information, the patients that I interact with basically committed crimes of the worst degree that have underlying mental health issues. Those are the patients at the hospital that I work with. That's why it's maximum security, because of the type of crimes that they committed were violent in nature. And yeah, again, it sounds unhinged. It really is not a bad job at all compared to what I was dealing with beforehand. Why did I get on this tangent? I'm trying to like backtrack. Oh, that's why I like to talk about psychology. There you go. I picked up my train of thought. That's why I like to talk about psychology, is because that's a big part of my job. Bear with me, sorry. And that is the louse all potted up. That is all for the propagations. Let's move on to the next props. The next props that I want to pot up are the props that I took about a month ago, I want to say, of the meredithii round leaf. They are very, very well rooted. I have 3 here to show you, and look at those roots, those really healthy water roots. They're all ready to go. I was going to pot them up with the other prop that I took of the round leaf, which is this one here, which is super, super duper pretty. I think I might hold off. I think I'll just pot them up by themselves for now, just because I don't think there's gonna be enough room. One of the props already has a really long tendril, so I'm gonna put in a trellis just for future purposes, since I'm not really good at timing that out when it really needs to happen. So just kind of do it preemptively. I think one of the things that I really, really struggle with in the plant hobby, but also just in life in general, is balance. I tend to be an all or nothing type of person. So I'm either going to be really into this genus or this hobby or even my career, and then out of nowhere it just drops off and stops. The plant hobby has always kept me interested though. I think this is kind of like one of the longest hobbies that I've kept up. I really started collecting plants in July of 2022, and it's been 2 years and I have kept at it, which for me is an achievement all of its own. I really struggle with balance. I really go all into something and I give it my all, then I just get burnt out. I really need to force balance a lot better. Which kind of gets me into another thing that I want to update you guys about my channel. I think I might do that towards the end of the video. Okay. That is the meredithii round leaf done. This is grown under just a little bit of a darker light, and this is higher light. It looks so, so different. I think I kind of prefer darker leaves. Which do you prefer? Next up, we have the quinquenervia. Don't you just love the sun stress that this hoya gets? It is beautiful. There's like a little bit more of a green one, and then this is like beautifully, beautifully sun stressed. They're also beautifully rooted. This one had all manner of pests, so I'm pretty sure I took these cuttings and then I threw the rest of the plant away just because it just, I don't know what the problem was, but it definitely had some kind of pest, maybe flat mites. At least I have these beautiful cuttings. Okay, looks good, looks good. Let's put it back in the pot. That is the quinquenervia all done. Let's repot the CV Ann and trellis it. I think that'll be the next thing to do. So this is the CV Ann. Got a long vine full of leaves. Desperately needs to be trellised and also desperately needs to be repotted. The root situation that we have is definitely coming out of the bottom. So I think I'm just gonna cut this plastic cup that it's in. There's really no point in saving it, and I'd rather keep the roots. This is gonna require some concentration, so I might just fast forward this part. Ah, there we go. And now the wick is like permanently stuck in there. I know sometimes I will leave the wick in on repots and that really freaks you guys out. I'm gonna try to get it out, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Cut it away. Which kind of defeats the purpose of saving the roots, eh? This is why you don't wait to repot, kids. Oh well. Also, I think these roots were rotted down here that were in the water anyways. It is what it is. This CV Ann, I'm just gonna use one of these clear pots, and I'm gonna use probably just one of these U trellises. I'm getting hungry. I like this U trellis because it has these spikes here at the bottom. This plant also grew a peduncle, but it never bloomed from it. Probably because of the inconsistent watering, would be my guess. On the topic of plant burnout, I'd be curious to hear your guys' stories if you've ever burnt out on plants. How long did it last? Why did it happen? How long did it take you to get back into plants? I think one of the solutions for plant burnout is yes, doing the things that you need to do to get out of it. Sometimes it's taking a break from plants, from buying plants. Another solution, which I'm sure you see this all around YouTube anyway, it's a pretty standard thing to do now, is you downsize your collection. There's lots of downsizing happening. I unintentionally downsize my collection, and by unintentionally I mean I accidentally kill plants. And I'm pretty sure that's what I'm gonna have to do with all of those garage plants. There's a lot of dead ones, and so I will definitely downsize when I go through who made it and who didn't. I would really love to be able to sell some plants, because I know not all of the plants I have I love anymore. I am so freaked out about having to ship plants. I think shipping plants is like just super scary, and I can't imagine people being disappointed when a plant arrives like not in good condition. I just think that would give me nightmares and just be super duper stressful. I don't think I'll ever be the type of person to have like a shop or anything like that. Definitely not. My anxiety would never let me do that. I know there's a lot of groups and communities, and I don't know, I wish I was the type of person to really be into that. And it's not that, I'm just like painfully shy. I will lurk a group, but I will never post or comment, which is ironic. Me having this channel here is very out of character for me, since I don't like to involve myself in anything. I just kind of like to keep to my corner and observe, but not be observed. Again, very ironic. For those of you that do post on communities and groups or plants a lot, like, did you need to get over that? Was it always comfortable for you to do? Are you glad that you've done it? I have a lot of questions. Okay, this trellis job isn't the worst. Look at this, guys. I, again, am not a professional whatsoever, and this one's kind of facing this way, and these are kind of facing that way. They'll adjust over time. I think this is my favorite trellis job so far. Not too bad. You can see that peduncle, hopefully, right in the middle there. Not too shabby. We are on to the CV Ricardo. Desperately needs to be trellised. I think that's gonna be a quick one. So this is my CV Ricardo. Lovely big leaves. I originally thought the leaves were gonna look something like this, kind of cute and round. They've been massive. Massive. It's already on a trellis, so I think I'm just gonna have to re-trellis it, because it's just been growing all up in my shelves, and that's no good. After a tendril goes in between a crack in your shelf and grows a leaf on the other side, it's game over. You either have to have it be there for all eternity, or you have to cut it and prop it. Luckily, I caught it before then, which surprised even me. Now I just have to figure out how I'm going to trellis this and make it look halfway decent, because it's kind of doing awkward things. I also ideally would like the tendrils to face upwards. Sometimes even if you do that, that tendril will die anyway. Let's zip tie right here. Keep all these guys together. Okay, hold on. Even that looks a little wonky. I think that's a little bit more managed. Does that look better to you? I don't know. There are all these crazy tendrils, but I just wanted to get the leaves on the trellis, which I kind of accomplished a little bit. So that's satisfactory to my standards anyway. The last plant we have today is going to be the Nova Ghost. I want to repot it, and I'm going to trellis it, and I need to find a pot and a trellis for it, so be right back. I feel like this has to definitely be over an hour. I feel like I've been doing this for 2 hours. But I don't know, I like to edit things down a lot, so we'll see. This is the Nova Ghost in all her glory. I feel like I'm reaching my cap of doing plant chores. I'm pretty sure a person can only do plant chores for like a couple hours before they're just like so over it, especially with Hoyas, because the tendrils just really piss me off. And I always, without fail, doing Hoya chores will knock over a Hoya in the process and make a huge mess. Like, I did it before I even started to film. There's like a huge mess that you can't see that I have to clean up. Let's get some zip ties. Bet you've never seen a trellising video with zip ties. I really like to set a high bar, you know, for myself. This one, however, is still actively growing, so I have to make sure I loop it. Now I just need to point this tendril back up. All right, and that is the Nova Ghost, all trellised up. Wow, I feel very accomplished. I feel good about this. I forgot to use Great White. I only use Great White on the first plant. That is great. Let me get all of this cleaned up and I will meet you back here. Really quick guys, before we end this video, I wanted to give a quick channel update, kind of going in terms of the theme of some burnout. I think that the best thing for me is to just step back from the weekly uploads, just to kind of take the pressure off of myself. Nobody forced me to keep to a weekly schedule, but I just think at this point, having like a job full-time and, you know, just doing the daily stuff that comes up with life, it's just begun to weigh too much on my conscience when I don't upload each week. I think I just placed this on me that I have to go by an upload schedule, and if I don't, then I'm not doing it correctly. By just trying to give myself more time to create content and to plan it out more, I think that'll just make me happier, and I think it'll also improve my content down the road as well. So that is the direction that I've chosen to go. Whenever they come up, they'll come up. I aim to do 4 a month, but if it's 3, it is what it is. I will say that I like the Wednesdays for my days to upload so far, so I think I'll keep that consistent. Hopefully you kind of know where I'm coming from, but yeah, just wanted to keep you guys all in the loop of what I've been planning for this channel. That about wraps up this video. These are all of the plants that I trellised and repotted today. If you can still see me behind this forest of Hoya, we did a lot today. We got a lot accomplished. I hope that you also accomplished some plant chores along with me too. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.